Hey folks, Dad here with Elevation Diecast Racing. Happy Saturday night. It's time to race. Pedal to the metal, number 2. We have drivers for every car, and this is the lineup. They have all been to the speed shop, and some more than once. Getting these up to primal speed, some of them needed a lot of help, some of them did not need much help at all. Nevertheless, should be a great race. And just a side note, earlier today, Elevation Diecast Racing was over at Commotion Racing in the stock race. I encourage you to go check that race out and check out Commotion Diecast. He is always running something good. All right, 16 car bracket. And we need the best time and a bigger beat to move on in the bracket. First up in lane number 1, driving the 80s Camaro, Keith Smith, taking on the mystery model Batmobile from 2007, driven by Dad's race team. Let's see who takes it. Camaro, no doubt. 2103, we'll swap them. 2103 and a greater than 13,000 speed will be needed by the Batmobile, and I don't see it happening. 2098 by the Camaro, moving on in the bracket. All right, next up, staged and ready in lane number 1. It's that 73 Ford Grand Torino driven by Northern Roads Racing, Chaz D, JC Hayes, and Mr. BFG. And in lane number 2 in that Mercedes SLK, and is driving Isaiah's race team. Let's see who takes it down in lane first. Look at that Mercedes, 2083 and a 10,000 speed. Closer race that time, but it is the Mercedes. Moving on to the next round. Next up, staged and ready in lane number 1 in the Corvette Stingray. Drivers are Cut Rocker Diecast and Jeff Speed from In Search of Speed, taking on the SS Express, driven by Griffin Soul Diecast Motorsports and Helium Gas. Good race. The Chevelle with a 2082 and an 11,000 speed. Chevelle putting on a clinic with a 2082. Closer race that time, but a 2082 in the first round and a way bigger beat is moving that Chevelle on to the next round. Next up, staged and ready in lane number 1 is the Skull Rider, driven by the V-Man, taking on the GT Racer. This is the fan favorite, driven by Chase Family Racing, Bavarian Diecast Racing, Eamon's Crazy Channel, Genie MAR, all the way from France. Welcome. Also driven by Stick Revenge 900, MD's Garage, DXP Diecast Racing, Dog Squab Racing, and Diecast Show Customs. Good luck. GT Racer 2094. We'll switch them. 2094 and a way too much to overcome beat, and the GT Racer will be moving on to the next round. All right, up next, staged and ready in lane number 1 is the 67 Camaro, driven by Tyler Thurston, taking on from the Gold Ride series. It is Unobtainium, driven by Isaiah's race team. Good race. 2098 and a 10,000 speed by the Camaro. We'll switch lanes. Camaro with a 10,000th advantage. And the Camaro will take it with a 2094 into the next round. All right, next up is a classic of the classics. In lane number 1 is the 3-window Ford from 1934, driven by Kirk Parker, taking on from 1932. It's the 32 Ford, driven by Scale Racing Channel. Good race. Wow. 2107 to 08. We'll swap lanes. 2107 and a 1,000 speed or greater needed if the 34 wants to move on. And look at the 32 taking it to him. Moving on to the next round. Wow. Okay, next up in lane number 1 from the Star Spangled series. It is the 57 Chevy, driven by Zelda Diecast Racing. In lane number 2 in the 1968 Mercury Cougar, driven by Joe Clayton. Good race. 5,000 feet. Chevy needs to beat him by more than 5 thousandths and a 2:101. Not gonna happen. 2:101 and a 5 thousandths, 4,000 feet. Cougar moving on. What a good race. Okay, next up, staged and ready. It is the last race of the first round in lane number 1. It is the Turbulence, driven by Aramis Rodriguez. And in lane number 2, the car I wish would win this race because just look at it. It's sweet. It is the special paint from the classics. It is the Hotbird, driven by Kit Racing, Hot Rods Custom Racing, Red Line Salvage Inc., and Blue Line Racing. Wow. 2083 laid down by the Turbulence. Are you kidding me? We'll run him again just to see that Hotbird before he finds a home on the shelf. Didn't get quite blown out as bad that time, but 2087 moving Turbulence on to the next round. Okay, here's a look at round 2. And it's going to be a fight to the finish. Let's get him up top. All right, lane 1 is the 80s Camaro taking on the Mercedes SLK. SLK taking off and putting space between. He was definitely pulling away at just about a car length beat. Oh yeah, 2088 to an 03. Mercedes moving on. Should be a good race right here. It's that sweet Chevelle taking on the GT Racer. Good race, but the Chevelle, look at the GT Racer was heading back on him with a 5,000 speed. We'll swap lanes. GT Racer needs a greater than 2086. Not a chance. 2076 now by the Chevelle. That's going to move him on. All right, staged and ready. In lane number 1 is the 67 Camaro taking on the 32 Ford. Close race. 2096 and an 8,000 beat. Let's see if the 32 can answer back. He was coming, but that Camaro just too much. He'll move on. And yes, as you've noticed, the top tier is gone. In a different place. We're going to be playing with the stocks, with the winners, the podium winners of this race. Staged and ready, the 1968 Cougar taking on Turbulence. What a race, Turbulence. 2081. A greater than 14,000 beat needed by the Cougar. He was out ahead, but Turbulence just too much for him on the back end, and he's moving on. All right, all of these cars putting down some good times. I'm sure we will see these guys in a lunchtime lap episode. But moving on, it's the semifinal round. All right, first match of the semifinals, the Mercedes SLK taking on the Chevelle. Two unlikely candidates as far as I'm concerned, but here they are. Chevelle getting out on him, 2082 to an 88. Chevelle with a 2082 and a 6,000s advantage. Wow, what a race. And the Chevelle moving on to the final. Okay, one's going to the final, one's going to the third place race. It's the 67 Camaro taking on Turbulence. Turbulence out front now, 2079 to a 92. Wow, 2079 and a 12,000 speed or greater. Turbulence too much, and he'll be moving on to the final. All right, here's a look at the final matchup. It is going to be the Chevelle taking on Turbulence. But first, let's see who will be third place for now. Camaro taking on the SLK. Good race, SLK, 2099 and a 9,000 speed. Camaro needs a 2090 and a greater than 9,000 speed to stay in it. Good effort, but the SLK taking third. And here is the final. First car to cross the finish line 3 times is going to be declared the winner. And then we'll run the second place against the third place and secure the podium. Race 1. Good race. Turbulence with an 8.5 to a 9.3. Let's see if the Chevelle can answer back. He gets out of the gate. 2:08.6 to 9.5. One race apiece. All right, one race apiece. Wow, Turbulence with a 6,000 speed this time. 2-1. Can the Chevelle push for a race 5? Turbulence now. Oh, he does. Race 5 forthcoming. Winner takes first place. Good race. Turbulence, though, with a 2:08.0. Wow, what a race. All right, to secure second, we'll just need the faster time and a bigger beat. After lane swap, let's see how it goes. Mercedes SLK keeping up but cannot catch the Chevelle. 2:08.8 to 9.2. They're greater than 4,000 speed needed if the Mercedes wants to take second. Chevelle! Wow! He's going to stand his ground. And there you have it, the official standings. Your winner of tonight's race in the Turbulence, driven by Aramis Rodriguez, taking second on the podium in the Chevelle SS, driven by Helium Gas and Griffinsoul Diecast Motorsports, and taking third spot on the podium tonight, Isaiah's race team in the Mercedes SLK. Wow, not the turnout I expected either. Congratulations going to the winner. We got a 41 to 50 weight class Mercedes. Well, let's see what he can do. Sitting number 1 in that class is from Meiku. It is the Firebird from Matchbox. Oh yeah, 2:06.8 he's running. Mercedes not even going to come close to touching that speed. Well, let's run them up a few. When you disband a 39 car top tier, your rankings automatically get faster. So he's running a 2:08.9. Let's run him down. Let's try the number 15 Mountain Dew Stalker and see what he does with that. Good race, but the Stalker 2:08.2 and an 8,000 speed. Let's see if the Mercedes can catch him. He's out in front, but the Stalker just takes off like a shot. Let's roll Mercedes versus Mercedes for number 19 in the case ranks. Good race. SLK looking like he's getting there, but not quite. 5,000 speed. Sorry, 4,000 speed in a 2:08.3. And oh yeah, not having it. 26 ranked Dodge Daytona number 2 by Matchbox. SLK putting up a fight, but 2,000 speed by the Daytona. Let's see if he can catch him. He's got the lead, but the Daytona runs him down in the end. Number 30, the Invader, says he would like some track time, and we will oblige. Mercedes won't get him either. 2:09.2 in a greater than 2,000 speed. Mercedes out in front, but not enough. The Invader catches him on the back end. Let's see how our friends in the Black Dot Mustang fare against the Mercedes. Mustang out in front, the Mercedes. Still the Mustang by 10 thousandths. Mustang with a 10,000 beat to stay in spot 34. 2:09.0 the time to beat. Huh. And the Mercedes won't do it. Just when I thought this SLK, he might need another rework. Who knows? Let's keep rolling. It's a red line. Oh, and the Mercedes is going to get him. Okay. And this is where I need to strengthen up in the latter part of the case ranks now. Mercedes definitely finding a spot, 2:08.7. He'll find himself 35th. Moving on with the Chevelle in the 51 to 61 weight class. We'll do the same thing. He'll get his shot at number 1, which is the Maximus Charger. And we'll just See where it's at. Good race. Maximus, though. Wow. 074 and an 18,000 speed. Much closer race this time, but he will not get the number one spot for sure. And we'll mosey on down the lineup. Let's see. Okay. We'll run him against the number 9, Red Murata Stalker. And we'll just kind of see where he's at. Good race, but the Stalker running him down by 10 thousandths. 2:08.4 the time to beat. Chevelle out front, but the Stalker floors him on the back end. All right, let's go on down. Let's give the bipolar Fairmont. Let's see what he's doing today. Does he go to the B-sides? Does he stay in the top 20? What's he doing? Looks like he came to race today. 2:08.3 and a 10,000 speed. These Fairmonts, they don't know whether they're coming or going. Chevelle out front now. Woo! Wow. 2:08.9. Let's run him again. One more time. 2:08.9 and a 10,000 speed. If the Chevelle can do that, we'll give it to him. And he cannot. Bummer. All right, we'll mosey on down the list. Let's run him up against, well, we might as well put him up against the Red Solaire. Let's see if he can get into the top 20. Good race. Solaire, though, 7.5 to 8.3. Chevelle's getting faster. But can he pull a 2:07.5? I'm having my doubts. He does get him off the line, but the... wow. That Solaire just chased him down on the back end. In the number 24 spot, the Redline Nissan Skyline. Haven't seen him in a while. From the first Pedal to the Metal series, if I'm not mistaken. Chevelle just not fast enough to get him. 2:08.1 and a greater than 9,000 speed. Chevelle out front, but the Skyline runs him down at the end. Well, that Chevelle is no T. Lamont. He's taking on the Blue Line Screaming Hauler. Let's see if he can place. Chevelle out front. He will get him by 3 thousandths. Switching lanes. And the Chevelle, 2:08.8 now. Okay, so that was for spot 29. So we'll go to the 28th. We'll go to this black Solaire. Not to be confused with top tier Solaire. I'm sure this guy could use a rework, and he'll be getting one in the weeks and months to come, I'm certain. 2:08.1. Wow. Chevelle just kicking it into another gear. Look at him go. Okay. So we'll turn that Solaire over, indicating that he's going to need reworked. It's the 27th ranked now. Praetorian Guard. Let's see what he's doing nowadays. Still running strong, but the Chevelle ran him down. No, he didn't either. 10,000 speed by the Guard. And I can promise you the Guard will be heading back to the speed shop for the new elevated treatment. Holding his own right now, though, and holding his spot. So the Chevelle SS cracking the top 30 at least, for now. Sitting at number 28 in the 51 to 61 weight class. Which brings us to the 41 to 50 weight class with your winner in the Turbulence. Don't want to keep you too much longer. This might be very short, but we'll see what Turbulence has against the new number 1. Back to the 41 to 50. I don't think he's running 2:07s, is he? Maybe he did run a 2:07. This will be a good test. He stayed up with him, but gee, 2:06.9. Maybe I should have sent him. 2:06.9, the time to beat. I don't see Turbulence doing that. No. Stay with the Firebird theme. It's the number 8 Halley's Comet. Comet getting out, but the Turbulence punched back with a 1,000 speed. 2:07 and a greater than 1,000 speed needed by Halley's Comet. Turbulence is going to climb the ranks, securing a spot in the top 8. Let's see if he can take the number 7 spot. It's the Thunder Burner, I believe this is. Thunder Burner. Whoo, 1,000 speed. Can the Turbulence burn up a thousandth of a second? He can. And by 3, wow, he's moving up. Let's see if he's got anything for old Sterling Marlin. Turbulence turns it on, but not enough at the end. Marlin by 1. 2087, the time to beat. Turbulence won't get it done. The buck stops at Sterling Marlin. So not bad at all. The first place winner is the Turbulence, driven by Aramis Rodriguez. So this will be the AR Turbulence, ranked number 7 in the 41 to 50. Nothing getting into the top tier today, but that's okay. It's getting tougher and tougher to get into the ranks, and that's the way we like it. Well, that was a lot of fun. Some of these will look good sitting on the shelf. Some of them will get a rework and tried in the case ranks. So from all of us over here at Elevation Diecast Racing, if it isn't fast, well, at least it'll look good on the shelf. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next race.